Hi, everyone. It's Madalyn Sklar, the host of the Social ROI Twitter chat, and I'm here with the awesome Kevin Garber, CEO of ManageFlitter. We just finished a really great chat. What did you think, Kevin?
It was great. Social selling is the topic that comes up every now and then, and it's definitely one of the topics I think that people love, especially small businesses and people in business development, because there seem to be these two parallel worlds of social media. There's the people that use it to consume information and socially, and then there's the professional side of it, that people use it as a tool, to drive business results and things like that. So always learn something new when someone talks about social selling.
Yeah, I do too. And it was really great having Koka Sexton as the guest today. He has such a great background in the social selling space. And he had some really interesting answers to his questions. And I was interested in getting your take on it. If that's okay,
Sure.
Does it sound all right to you?
Sure, go for it.
So one of the answers he had was, he said, when we were talking about, when we were unpacking social selling as a lead generation, for lead generation, he said it's a common misconception that sales ends when you get the contract. Focus on the customer. It's a life cycle, not a transaction.
I think, it's interesting. Human beings are very interesting people, and it translates right through to business, Madalyn. And what I mean by that is businesses have a great obsession with getting new customers, but the obsession with keeping existing customers happy is still doesn't seem to be match up to their obsession with getting new customers, and social can certainly be great for getting new customers, but it can definitely excel for keeping the existing customers happy. But even more than that, it can excel in helping you learn more about your existing customers, right? And someone made the point in the social ROI chat that you can learn so much by actually reading the feeds of the customers, of the people that are following your Twitter account. Now, I love that because it's actually something people don't talk about or don't think about a lot, that even if you the bar or the dessert bar or the cafe, and you've got a few hundred people following you on social or on Twitter, say, you could actually spend an afternoon or a couple of hours every week, actually look at their feed. Someone even said that, they mention when they go into a meeting to talk about a competitive product, or even in the corporate side of things, you could glean a lot by looking at people's Twitter feeds of the accounts that are following you. And I think that's such a great point. And you could help to use that information to divide that into personas of people that use your product or people that are interested in your product. So definitely both on the prospecting side of things as well as on the retaining the customer side of things, huge opportunities for social.
I absolutely agree. Such a great point. And I want to do a big shout out. We got JMatt here live with us, and Ashi. It's always nice when we've got people live with us. JMatt is one of our regulars. He said he wasn't able to make it. But JMatt, if you have any questions, we actually encourage everybody that's here live with us. If you have a question for Kevin or I, feel free to post it on here and we can talk about it. Koka also did another tweet when we were talking about that, saying, and I love this, he said, the best part of social selling is adding a new way to be social with your buyers and customers. And I feel like we don't see that enough in business on social media. What's your take on that, Kevin?
Yeah, look, sorry, you just cut out there for a second, Madalyn. Can you just repeat the question quickly?
Sure. The question is, the answer, Koka, it was still along the lines of the same question when we were unpacking social selling for lead generation. And he said the best part of social selling is adding a new way to be social with your buyers and customers.
Look, I think, if you look at life before social, there'd be companies. I mean, if you think about your grocery store that you'd go to, or perhaps not a grocery store, what we call perhaps, a supermarket or things like that, the equivalent of, I think, Safeway in the States. We have Kohl's and Woolworths here. You'd go visit there 3 or 4 times a week, and you wouldn't really have any type of communication or relationship with them, which, if you think about it, is quite remarkable for these companies that you deal with the whole time. And in a way, it's still even remarkable that we have other companies like telcos that we deal with that we've still got an incredibly arm's length relationship with. So I actually think we're still pretty early in the social piece. You can imagine a Slack channel if a progressive telco perhaps would have a Slack channel for each suburb, perhaps, and you with telco X, and you can actually have a Slack channel where you can just talk to someone about your requirements or issues that you have, and you actually have a lot more than a token relationship. So I think business is at a very exciting point. I think it's scary for a lot of companies, but there's huge opportunity to for us to move to a new phase of business where relationships are really going to be an important part of it. Consumers want it, consumers need it. The days of speaking to people at call centers and frustratingly going around in circles, smart companies are going to realize that's not what the customers want.
Right. And we're getting some great responses here in the chat. Adele says hello, and she says she agrees, especially in Australia, so many companies just don't get the social aspect. I totally agree. I mean, I see that all around. And we're keeping this real brief. Just one more point I thought that was interesting before we wrap up. When we were talking about, one of the questions was, what benefits does publishing video content on Twitter offer with respect to social selling? And Koka made such a great point, saying that videos are 6 times more likely to be retweeted on Twitter than photos, and 3 times more than GIFs. So what's your thought on that, Kevin?
I think short videos, really short videos, I'm talking 5 to 10 seconds with one point. The reason why I think they're so effective, Madalyn, is that people are struggling to consume so much information and stay so up to date. And a quick 5 to 10 second video might save the person watching it, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, even if it's a highlight of a feature or of your product, or communicating something they can, I'm a big user of Slack, and I'm always discovering these little features about Slack. And I'll often think, if I could even just follow a Twitter channel put together by Slack of just 5-second tips and tricks. And I should actually, we should drink our own Kool-Aid. I mean, at ManageFlitter, I even made the comment that it's something that we can improve a lot. And we've been experimenting, we do the podcast, It's a Monkey podcast, and we've been experimenting on the podcast Twitter feed with the small GIFs, and we've been experimenting getting, using the right tools and getting the sort of logistics and mechanics of that right. But it's essentially just compressing that time for people. People want to consume information effectively, but they obviously have limited time, limited bandwidth. So those really small GIFs, those really small videos done correctly can really compress that time really effectively for the viewer, for the customer.
I've noticed on the SocialROI chat, we're seeing more and more people getting comfortable using GIFs, and it's such a great way to express themselves. What do you think about GIFs? Do you like using them?
I've got mixed feelings. About GIFs. Maybe I'm a little bit old school about it. I mean, in our Slack channels at work, every now and then it's fun. I've got mixed feelings, Madalyn. I think the GIFs can be overused very, very easily. And I think once they become overused, it becomes very tedious and very tiresome. But I think used every now and then, I think they can be very effective, and particularly to inject some humor into the day-to-day life where, it can get quite heavy and serious and laborious sometimes. But I think people just do have to be careful about overusing them, because it is so easy and so tempting, and they're so cute and quirky that the temptation is there to just, find that Giphy that you want to drop in.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with you. But it is interesting to see people doing it on the chat. It seems to be once they're comfortable and they feel like they've gotten to know people, feeling like they're just with friends, that I notice that people will do it more on a chat. And then Adele says, same with emojis, using them wisely when suitable. That's such a great point. This has been great. Just a nice little brief chat and getting your take on it, Kevin. It's nice to have you come on the after chat and hearing your thoughts on all of this. Any closing remarks?
No, I think, I think we should make these post chats. I mean, I know we have been making these post chats a bit of a habit. I think it's great for people to see the people behind the chats. I think it's an excellent combination. And I agree with your comment about, both GIFs and video. I think people are getting comfortable with video as well, which is really terrific. And look forward to the future Twitter chats. We're keeping them going because we feel that we learn a lot, our customers learn a lot, and there is so much to learn. So thanks so much for hosting the chat after the chat.
Exactly. The chat after the chat. And thank you for everybody that's here live. And thank you to everybody watching the replay. We'll be back again next week. We have special guest Cami Husey. It's going to be really good stuff. So thanks, everybody. See you next time. And there'll be a recap up on ManageFlitter's blog in a day or two. So check that out. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.